My dear friends, my brothers and sisters, you ever noticed this weird thing? When you're broke, everybody's a brother. When you start improving, suddenly you've changed. Same face, same accent, same WhatsApp number, but now you're different. That's not philosophy. That's your friend list doing quality control. And today I want to talk about something nobody likes to say out loud. Some friends don't want you to win. They want you close. Not because they're evil, because your growth makes them uncomfortable. See, success is like turning on a light in a messy room. When the light comes on, you finally see what's inside. Dust, cracks, and 3 types of friends you must remove. If you want peace, focus on a future that doesn't look like your past. So let's start with the first one. There is a friend I call the comfort dealer. This friend doesn't sell drugs. They sell comfort. They never say, don't chase your dream. They say, bro, relax. You deserve it. You say, I'm starting a business. They say, nice, but why stress? Life is short. You say, I'm going to the gym. They say, respect, but today is chest day. Let's eat starting tomorrow. You say, I'm quitting bad habits. They say, one time won't kill you. And somehow, one time happens every day. They speak like a therapist, but they behave like a trap. Because every time you feel motivated, they offer you a soft pillow and a reason to lie down. And here's the dangerous part. They're not always wrong. Rest is important. Fun is important. Balance is important. But the comfort dealer doesn't give you balance. They give you permission to stay the same. They don't calm you down. They slow you down, right when your life is finally picking up speed. Let me make this simple with famous examples. When Michael Jordan trained like a madman, people called him intense. When Cristiano Ronaldo skipped junk food and lived in the gym, people called him crazy. When Oprah said no and protected her time, people called her difficult. But later, when results arrived, everyone called it inspiration. At the beginning, they called you too much. At the end, they called you legend. The comfort dealer will never clap for your beginning. They only want to enjoy your ending. They want front row seats to your success, but they don't want to watch you pay for the ticket. So, what do? You don't argue. You don't announce anything. You don't explain big dreams to people who laugh at effort. You reduce access. You become busy building your life. And when they ask where you've been, you smile and say, trying to become someone future me won't be embarrassed by. If they respect it, they're real. If they get offended, you got your answer. Some friends don't attack you, they clap for you with one hand. They're the type that will say, I'm proud of you. But their eyes look like they just swallowed a lemon. Today we're talking about the second friend you must remove. I call them the secret hater, or more politely, the jealous fan. They don't hate you loudly, they hate you politely. They'll come to your birthday and count how many people came. They'll compliment your outfit, then ask, how much was it? Like they're the tax department. They'll congratulate you, but the sentence always has a little poison at the end. Wow, you're doing so well for someone like you. For someone like you is not a compliment, that's a slap with a smile. You tell them, I got a new job. They say, nice, the company's okay, but be careful. They fire people. Thank you. Very inspiring. I feel motivated to cry now. You tell them, I'm starting to look good. I lost weight. They say, don't lose too much. You'll look sick. Bro, last year you said I look like a potato. They don't celebrate your wins. They audit your wins, and the biggest sign when something bad happens to you, they become a therapist instantly. I messed up them. It's okay. It happens. Life is hard. You tried. So supportive, right? But when something good happens, suddenly they become a lawyer. Are you sure? How long will it last? Is that even stable? Do you have proof? Why? Because your success makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to face their own excuses. You know what jealousy really is? It's not I want what you have. It's I hate that you proved it's possible. Let me give you a famous example. Everybody knows when Adele lost weight, people didn't say congrats. They said, why did you change? When Robert Downey Jr. rebuilt his life, people didn't say respect. They said, let's see if he relapses. When Messi won, some people didn't say he's great. They said, yeah, but Ronaldo, that's the jealous friend energy. They can't enjoy your story unless they add a but. And here's the scary part. Sometimes this friend is close to you, so close that you trust them with your plans. And they do something very dangerous. They put doubt in your head in the voice of care. Just be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. Not everyone can do that. Sounds wise, right? But if every time you dream big, someone throws cold water on it, eventually you stop dreaming, and they'll call that maturity. No, that's fear with a suit and tie. So, how do you handle the secret hater? Again, no drama, no confrontation, like you're jealous of me. That's messy, and they'll enjoy the drama. You do something smarter. You stop giving them front row seats. Stop telling them your next move. Tell them your results. So, you switch the system. Share your goals with builders. Share your wins with supporters. Share your pain with a trusted few. And test them with one simple thing. When you win, do they get happy or do they get quiet? A real friend will say, let's go. A secret hater will say, nice, and disappear like your salary after rent. Remember, not everyone who laughs with you is happy for you. Some people laugh with you to stay close enough to watch you fall. And you don't need enemies when you have a friend like that. Now listen carefully. The first friend slows you down with comfort. The second friend poisons your confidence with jealousy. But the third one doesn't just waste your time. They train your brain to accept chaos as normal. I call this friend the drama magnet. They don't live life. They broadcast it. If their life is peaceful for 2 days, they get nervous. They start a fight just to feel alive. Their phone is not a phone. It's a siren. You see their notification and your heart rate increases like you're in a horror movie because every call is, bro, you won't believe what happened. And it's never, I got a promotion. It's always my cousin's friend's girlfriend's ex did something crazy. It's always a crisis, always a scandal, always a problem. You'll be having a good day, focused, productive, finally feeling like an adult. Then you meet them for 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, you're involved in someone's breakup, someone's fight, someone's exposing, someone's I swear on my mother, someone's take sides, and suddenly your brain is full but with trash. This friend will say we should chill, but chill with them means talking bad about people, analyzing other people's relationships, laughing at someone's failure, collecting stories like Pokemon. Did you hear about him? Did you hear about her? Don't tell anyone, but they always start with, don't tell anyone, then tell everyone. If secrets were money, they'd be billionaires. And here's how you know they're dangerous. After you spend time with them, you don't feel inspired. You feel dirty. Not physically, mentally, like you ate junk food with your brain. Because gossip is mental fast food. Tastes good in the moment. Later, you feel heavy, tired, and ashamed. And this friend has a special power. They make you feel like you're close, but actually you're just connected through negativity. It feels like bonding, but it's bonding over poison. Famous example, look at what happened to Britney Spears. For years, so many people around her benefited from the chaos more than her peace. Or think of public friendships that blow up online. One screenshot, one rumor, one he said, she said, and it's fire everywhere. Drama is a business for some people. And the drama magnet is the local franchise owner. Now let me be brutally honest. Sometimes the drama magnet is not evil. They're just addicted. They're addicted to attention, addicted to being the messenger, addicted to being important because they know things. Because if they're not carrying drama, they don't know who they are. So what do you do with them? You don't become their therapist. You don't become their audience. You don't become their teammate. Because if you listen long enough, you will eventually become a character in their story, and you'll hear your own name in a sentence like, I didn't want to say this, but you know, he also said, now you're in it. Congratulations. You have been promoted from friend to episode. So here's the rule. If a friend only brings you problems but never brings solutions, they're not a friend. How to handle them? Again, no drama. Irony, right? You do 3 moves. You stop reacting. They send a long message, you reply short. They call with panic, you reply calm. Drama dies when it doesn't get oxygen. You refuse to take sides in nonsense. If it's not your business, don't rent your mind to it. You exit politely. Hope it gets better. I'm busy right now praying for you. Then go back to building your life, because your future cannot be built inside someone else's chaos. Now, I'm going to show you the simple filter you can use to instantly know who stays and who goes without becoming cold, rude, or lonely. Here's the truth. You don't need to cut people off like a movie villain. You just need a filter, because most people don't ruin your life with one big betrayal. They ruin it with one distraction, one doubt, one drama call every week. So let me give you the simple filter that saves your future without turning you into a rude robot. Ask yourself this. After I spend time with this person, do I feel first clear or confused? Clear is equal to good friend. Confused is equal to they're planting noise in your head. Second, energized or drained. Energized doesn't mean hyped like a nightclub. It means you feel lighter, calmer, more capable. Drained means you need a nap and a shower just from talking. Third, stronger or weaker. A good friend makes you want to do better. A bad friend makes you want to do nothing. Now let's apply it to the 3 friends. The comfort dealer, after them, you feel relaxed, but behind you didn't rest, you surrendered. The secret hater, after them, you feel smaller. Not because you failed, because they made you question yourself. The drama magnet, after them, you feel dirty and distracted, like your brain just scrolled for 3 hours on someone else's problems. Now, here's the part people get wrong. They think removing friends means being cruel. No, it means being selective with access. Because access is expensive. Your time is access. Your attention is access. Your energy is access. Your private plans are access. Stop handing out access like free Wi-Fi. Some people don't deserve the password. And look, this is important. A lot of people keep bad friends because they fear one thing, loneliness. But listen to me, being alone is not the worst thing. The worst thing is being surrounded and still feeling alone. The worst loneliness is sitting with people who don't understand you, don't support you, and secretly enjoy your struggle. That's not friendship. That's a waiting room for failure. So what do you do practically without drama? Here are 3 moves that work in real life. Move 1, stop oversharing your next move. Your next move is not a group project. Tell people after it's done, because some friends hear your goal like this. Oh, nice. Let me see how I can reduce it. Move to change the location of your life. If every time you meet, it's the same place, same talk, same nonsense, then your life will be the same. Meet in better places, at better times, with better purpose. Even a simple switch like let's meet for a walk instead of let's sit and complain will expose who's real. Because fake friends hate walking. They only like sitting. Move 3, upgrade your calendar, not your arguments. Don't fight them. Just get busy. And the right friends will respect it. The wrong friends will mock it. That mockery is your confirmation. And here's a funny little reality check. If your friend gets angry because you're improving, what does that say? Imagine a friend who gets mad because you're eating healthier. What are they saying? Please stay unhealthy so I don't feel guilty about pizza. That's not love. That's emotional blackmail with cheese. Now, let me give you 1 sentence to remember forever. A real friend doesn't compete with your growth. A real friend contributes to it. Real friends are not the people who say, I'm always here for you. Real friends are the people you don't need to recover from after you meet them. Because some friends are like cheap chargers. They work for 10 minutes, then your whole phone starts smoking. A real friend does 3 simple things. And if you remember nothing else, remember this. When you win, they don't get weird. When you struggle, they don't enjoy it. When you grow, they don't punish you. That's it. Let me make it relatable. You tell a real friend, I'm trying to fix my life. They don't reply with, bro, life is short. Come waste it with me. They reply with, good, what's the plan? When are you starting? I'll check on you. Not controlling, not jealous, just solid. Real friends don't compete with your growth. They don't turn your progress into a debate. They don't make jokes every time you level up like your discipline is a personal insult. A real friend is happy when you improve because your improvement doesn't threaten them. You know what fake friends do when you get serious? They try to drag you back using comedy. Look at you, Mr. Motivation. Now you're a businessman. Who do you think you are? That's not humor. That's insecurity wearing a funny hat. A real friend jokes too, but they joke like this. Okay, Mr. CEO, now go do your work. I'm proud of you. But don't forget us when you buy the island. See the difference one joke pulls you down. One joke keeps you grounded while pushing you forward. And here's the best test for a real friend. They speak well about you when you're not in the room. Because loyalty isn't what they say to your face. Loyalty is what they protect when you're absent. Also, real friends have a special power. They can tell you the truth without trying to make you feel small. Fake friends say truth like a weapon. I'm just being honest. You're not that talented. Real friends say truth like a seatbelt. Bro, this is good, but your consistency is the problem. Fix that. I know you can. Same honesty, different intention. Now let's talk about the fear everybody has. If I remove these people, what if I end up alone? Listen, being alone is not failure. Being surrounded by people who drain you is failure. And yes, for a short season you might feel quiet. Your phone might feel too silent. But that silence is not loneliness. That silence is space. Space to think, space to work, space to heal, space to build. And once you start building, you will attract better people automatically because builders recognize builders. You don't find real friends by begging. You find real friends by becoming the type of person real friends respect. So here's how you replace the wrong circle. You don't go searching for a lot of friends. You search for one person with these qualities. They keep their word. They don't gossip for entertainment. They celebrate your wins without adding but. They push you without humiliating you. They respect your boundaries without acting like you betrayed them. One real friend like that is worth more than 20 bro come outside friends. And let me end with the line that should hit like a punch but feel like a hug. A real friend doesn't compete with your growth. A real friend contributes to it. So if you want a different life, you need a different circle. Not a bigger circle, a better one. And if they call you changed, smile, because you didn't change to impress people. You changed to stop losing years. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe, my dear. Let me tell you the real problem. You don't lack motivation, you lack control. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions don't show up every day. That's why you keep starting and stopping and starting again. So forget motivation. For the next 7 days, we're doing something different. No hype, no long plans, no life overhaul. Just a simple reset that forces discipline back into your life. Even on days you feel tired, lazy, or done. If you give me 7 days, you won't recognize the person you were before this video. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation is like a friend who only shows up when life is easy. The moment things get boring, uncomfortable, or hard, motivation disappears and leaves you unread. So, this is not a motivation video, this is a 7-day discipline reset. Think of it like rebooting a phone that's been glitching for years. You don't throw the phone away, you don't scream at it, you just restart the system. Today is day 1. And day 1 is not about doing more, it's about removing one thing. Here's how most people live their day. They wake up tired, they scroll while brushing their teeth, they check messages they don't need to answer, they react to everyone else's urgency. By evening, they say, I'm exhausted, even though they didn't build anything. That's not tiredness, that's leakage. Your energy is leaking all day through one habit you already know is killing you. For some people, it's endless scrolling. For others, it's gossip. For some, it's replying instantly to everyone like they're on call for life. For some, it's binge watching Netflix shows they don't even enjoy anymore. Day one has only one rule. Identify the one thing that drains you the most and cut it for 24 hours. Not forever, not I'll reduce it, not I'll be mindful, cut it cold. If it's social media, delete the app for one day. If it's late night Netflix, shut it off after dinner. If it's useless conversations, go quiet. People say, but that's extreme. No. What's extreme is repeating the same year of your life 5 times and calling it normal. Here's the funny part. When you cut that one leak, you won't suddenly become productive. You'll feel restless. You'll keep checking your phone that isn't there. You'll open apps you deleted. You'll feel bored. Good. That boredom is discipline. Waking up after a long coma, most people run from boredom. Disciplined people sit inside it until clarity shows up. By the end of day one, something small but powerful happens. You sleep earlier, your mind feels quieter, you realize how much time you were bleeding without noticing, and you start respecting yourself a little more, not because you achieved something big, but because for once you kept a promise to yourself. That's the real reset. Day 2 is where the inner lawyer shows up. You know that voice. I'll start after coffee, I'll do it after one more scroll. I had a long day tomorrow. I'll be serious. You don't need motivation. You need to stop holding meetings with yourself because every meeting ends the same way. You lose again. Feelings are terrible managers. They promise productivity in the morning, then disappear by evening. If your life waits for you to feel like it, your life will stay in waiting mode forever. Disciplined people aren't special. They're just tired of arguing with themselves. This is day 2. And day 2 has one rule that feels almost insulting. Pick one tiny action and do it at the same time every day, no matter how you feel. Not impressive, not Instagram worthy, boring. And yes, your ego will hate this. Here's what that looks like in real life. 10 push-ups, not a full workout. Learning a new skill even for 10 minutes. A 5-minute walk, not a transformation. 10 minutes of reading, even one page. Writing one paragraph, not a masterpiece. Cleaning one small area, not the whole house. Pick one. If you pick 5, congratulations, you just turned discipline into motivation again. And here's the funny part. You'll sit there thinking, this is too small. This won't change anything. That thought is exactly why it works. Discipline doesn't start when things feel important. It starts when things feel too small to matter. There's a reason Steve Jobs wore almost the same outfit every day. Not because he didn't care, but because he refused to waste brain power on decisions that don't move life forward. That's what you're doing here. You're removing choice. No debate, no mood check, no excuses. And don't expect fireworks. On day 2, you might feel annoyed, unimpressed, almost disappointed. Good. That's what it feels like when discipline replaces dopamine. By the end of day 2, you won't feel motivated. You'll feel reliable. And reliability beats motivation every time. Day 3 is when your mind starts acting funny. Not tired, not lazy, noisy. You sit down to do one small task and suddenly your brain opens 47 tabs. You should reply to that message. Did you remember that embarrassing thing from 2017? What if this doesn't work? Anyway, let me just check one thing real quick. 5 minutes later, you've done nothing but you're exhausted. That's not a lack of discipline. That's a noisy mind pretending to be busy. Most people thinking is working. It's not. Thinking without action is just mental cardio. Lots of movement, zero progress. This is day 3, and day 3 has one rule that sounds simple but exposes everything. When it's time to act, you do one task in silence until it's done. No switching, no checking, no multitasking. One task, one block of time, one direction. That's it. Your brain will panic. It will say, this is boring. I could do this faster if I multitask. What if someone needs me? No one needs you that badly. That panic you feel, that's dopamine withdrawal. You've trained your brain to survive on stimulation, not progress. There's a reason Kobe Bryant was famous for training alone. Early without music, without hype. Not because he hated people, but because focus is fragile. and noise destroys it. That's discipline. Protecting your attention like it matters because it does. So on day 3, no background scrolling, no jumping between tasks. No, I'll just check. If your mind wanders, bring it back. Not angrily, calmly, like training a distracted puppy. And here's the funny part. After a few minutes of real focus, you'll feel irritated. That irritation is not boredom. That's your brain realizing it's no longer in charge. By the end of day 3, you won't feel smarter. You'll feel quieter. And quiet people get more done in 1 hour than noisy people do in a full day. That's the reset taking hold. Day 4 is where people get stuck in a dangerous loop. They don't stop working. They stop finishing. They start things. They think about things. But nothing actually gets completed. They say, I'm still working on it. I need to improve it. It's not ready yet. That sounds responsible. It's actually fair in a suit because unfinished things don't judge you. Finished things do. This is day 4. And day 4 has one rule that feels uncomfortable. Finish one small task completely. Even if it's imperfect, not the best version, not the final version, just done. Send the email, finish the page, upload the video, complete the workout, close the task, no polishing, no overthinking, no let me fix it one more time. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're addicted to almost done. Almost started, almost finished, almost ready, almost is comfortable, done is scary. There's a reason Mark Zuckerberg followed a simple rule early on. Done is better than perfect. Not because perfect is bad, but because nothing improves until it exists. That's discipline. Choosing completion over comfort. On day 4, expect this feeling. Mild anxiety. What if this isn't good enough? The urge to delay. That feeling means you're finally at the edge of growth. Finish anyway. Because confidence doesn't come from thinking, it comes from closing loops. By the end of day 4, you won't feel proud. You'll feel lighter because unfinished things stop living rent-free in your head. And people who finish small things daily eventually finish big things without fear. Day 5 is when you realize something uncomfortable. You're doing the work, you're staying disciplined, but somehow you still feel drained. Not from effort, from people. You didn't lift heavy weights, you didn't run a marathon, you just had a conversation. And suddenly, you need to lie down and rethink your life. You know the type. They start with quick question. 40 minutes later, you're emotionally exhausted and they feel great. That's not bad luck. That's energy theft. This is day 5. And day 5 has one rule that sounds rude until you try it for one day. Stop being emotionally available to everyone. Not aggressive, not dramatic, just unavailable. You don't explain everything. You don't reply instantly. You don't absorb every mood in the room. Short answers, calm tone, no extra emotion. Here's the funny part. When you stop explaining yourself, most people don't even notice. The world doesn't collapse. No one sends a search party because a lot of conversations weren't necessary. They were just habits. Habits that quietly killed discipline. You felt this before. You sit down to do something important. Then you check one message. That message turns into another. Then a call. Then a quick rant. And suddenly your discipline is gone. Not because you're weak, but because you leaked it away. There's a reason Warren Buffett once said, the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Not because they hate people, but because they respect their energy. On day 5, you don't argue. You don't overshare. You don't feel guilty for protecting your focus. If something doesn't need your action, it doesn't get your emotions. By the end of day 5, something clicks. You're not tired anymore. You're available again for the things that actually matter. And disciplined people aren't more motivated than others. They're just more careful about who gets access to them. Day 1 was about cutting one leak to prove you have control. Day 6 is different. Day 6 is about asking a dangerous question. Why am I depending on self-control at all? Because self-control is unreliable. It works when you're fresh. It disappears when you're tired. Disciplined people don't fight temptation every day. They don't see it. This is day 6. And day 6 has one rule that changes everything. Set up your environment so the right action happens by default. Not for one day, not as a challenge, as a system. Your phone doesn't live next to your bed anymore. The app doesn't auto-open anymore. The distraction isn't one tap away anymore. Not because you're weak, but because you're done negotiating. Here's the funny truth. Most people think discipline means saying no all day. That sounds exhausting because it is. Smart discipline says, why am I making this hard? There's a reason James Clear talks about environment over motivation. Behavior follows what's easy. So on day 6, you stop testing yourself. You stop proving strength. You stop sitting next to temptation like it's a personality test. You design once so you don't fight daily. And when you do this, something surprising happens. You don't feel strong, you feel free because discipline finally stops being the battle and starts being your default. Day 7 is quiet, no excitement, no breakthrough moment, no dramatic feeling. And that's exactly the point, because by now, something important has happened. You didn't change your whole life. You didn't become a new person. You didn't find motivation. You just did what you said you would do for 7 days. And most people never experience that. They try motivation, they try inspiration, they try copying routines, but they never build self-rest. This is day 7, and day 7 has one rule, the most important one of all. Stop asking, can I keep this up? Start saying, this is who I am now. Not perfectly, not forever, just by default. You're not someone who waits to feel ready. You're not someone who negotiates every action. You're not someone who disappears when it gets boring. You're someone who shows up even quietly. Here's the funny part. If you tell people you're disciplined, nobody cares. But when you stop explaining yourself, stop rushing, stop reacting, and just keep showing up, people feel it. There's a reason Michael Jordan was known for doing the basics relentlessly. Not when cameras were on, but when nobody was watching. Not because he was obsessed with winning, because he trusted who he was when it didn't matter. That's identity. And identity beats goals every time. Goals depend on motivation. Identity runs automatically. So here's how day 7 works in real life. You don't say, I'm trying to be disciplined. You say, I don't skip. You don't say, I'll see how I feel. You say, this is just what I do. No announcement, no pressure, no finish line. And don't make this dramatic. You don't need to continue the 7-day challenge. You don't need a new plan. You already built the proof. 7 days of acting without feelings, finishing small things, protecting your energy, designing your environment. That's enough from here on. Discipline isn't something you chase. It's something you return to when life gets messy. Because it will. And when it does, you won't panic. You'll say, I've done this before. I know the way back. That's the real reset. Not a perfect life, a reliable one. And reliable people always win in the long run. I'll thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my dear.